This was like a jackhammer was taking the whole house and shaking it up and down very violently in all directions. And it wasn't the gentle rolling earthquake that we've had in the past.
And you were right here in your home at the time.
Yeah, I was up on the second story, and it was quite a wild ride. It was very terrifying.
Your thoughts were that this might be the big one, huh?
This was a big one as far as I was concerned, and I just knew it was going to be pretty major damage.
Was anybody injured during the earthquake?
No, we all got out.
That's amazing considering the damage that we're looking at here today. Was your car okay?
Car was great. Car's fine, and unfortunately the house isn't, but I escaped with my life, and that's all that matters.
On Out and About today, we are standing on top of Franciscan Hill overlooking the Santa Clarita Valley. We are particularly interested today in Santa Clarita and their problems during the 1994 earthquake. We'll be talking to the mayor today, and we'll be talking to the residents about the experiences that they had during this big disaster. With visible signs of damage nearly everywhere, from cracked streets to destroyed homes, the communities of the Santa Clarita Valley are coming together to face the aftermath of the deadly Northridge earthquake. Even Santa Clarita's own City Hall wasn't immune to the quake's powerful blow, forcing the City Council to conduct their emergency relief efforts outside in temporary tent quarters that were established shortly after the quake hit. Mayor, we are standing in front of the remains of City Hall, I believe.
Yes, what's left of it.
What did happen here exactly?
Well, you know, of course, we had the earthquake on January 17th, 4:31 a.m. And this building, which is probably pretty well built, sustained considerable damage inside. At first, we thought we'd be able to fix it, that it was cosmetic. As we began to look inside just a little bit more, we found out that it was more than cosmetic. There was structural damage, and we believe we're going to have it repaired in about 75 or 90 days, and it'll cost us somewhere in the vicinity between $3 and $4 million.
Wow, I see there are holes in the side of the building. Is that where they explored to see exactly what happened?
Yes, there were some cracks inside, some large cracks inside originally, but those holes were placed there to do the inspection so they could examine the steel structural beams and all that stuff.
Right across from us here, behind me, are, well, some tents and trailers. Is that where you're operating from?
Well, we started operating probably around an hour after the earthquake hit on that morning. And this was part of a plan that we already had. We had an emergency plan. We have a coordinator for these emergencies. Disaster planning has been a part of our policy for several years. We operated it because the city manager is designated as the person responsible for running the command center. He is the emergency disaster control senior officer of the city at this time. That is all part of the policy and so forth. In addition to that, we had to declare a state of emergency in the city, and I signed that declaration shortly after the earthquake hit.
Adjacent to the tent, which is used for the city council meetings, is a trailer which houses the Emergency Operations Center. The OC is used to help coordinate all of the available data, enabling businesses and residents the opportunity to receive information from one central location.
My function is to see the OC runs correctly, to be liaison through to the county, the state, and the federal government, to get assistance into the people, to coordinate with the other agencies that are in town.
So the function of this center then is to coordinate, I guess is the key word.
Yes, this is where we coordinate everything. All the information comes into one central spot so that we can deploy resources and where they're needed the most.
How long did it take to get all the phones up and running here at the center?
It was remarkably quickly, considering what we went through. There were people here at City Hall within half an hour, 45 minutes. Within an hour, we had tables set up, we had our phones set up, We had agencies reporting. We were out doing our survey to find out the damage. We were really operational within an hour, which, considering we had no electricity, nothing. It was great.
You were impressed yourself here.
We were all impressed. I mean, we all got goosebumps the first week just thinking how well it was going. We really did. The teamwork, everyone pulling together has been incredible.
The trailer park seems to have been heavily hit, and also, I guess, the biggest disaster, other than the obvious, is the fact that the gas lines were ruptured. Is that right?
That's correct. What happened is the number of the mobile homes fell off their foundation, and when that happened, the gas lines broke, and that created a fire in a number of different locations. So several of those, unfortunately, burned completely to the ground, and all of the parks sustained quite a bit of damage.
At the Park Lane Mobile Home Estates on Soledad Canyon Road, the residents suffered a devastating blow as the quake shook whole trailers from their platforms, leaving many on unsteady ground. The quake's fury raged through the complex, toppling porches and leaving the area so devastated that the Red Cross National Disaster Team patrols the area, providing care as well as meals to the nerve-rattled residents.
I'm here from Florida and just helping out. I'm on the National Disaster Team, and I was sent out on Tuesday and was shipped over here, and I'll be here probably about 3 weeks.
What are some of the problems here in the trailer park?
Well, just from, what the earthquake did is shook the homes to where they flattened them out, and they're just having to be leveled out now, and they don't have any gas right now. That's why Red Cross is out. As soon as they get their gas and electricity and everything back, then we'll go on to another part what needs us.
We see there were a lot of fires here.
Yes, that's what I'm aware of. Like I said, I only came in on Tuesday, and so I've been working this trailer park at the time. But I haven't really been out doing much of anything. We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner here at the trailer park, so we're busy. We have enough time to come here, drop off breakfast, go back, get lunch, come back, do lunch. Same thing with dinner. We start out about 7 o'clock in the morning, and we don't quit until about 10 or 11 at night.
So where are you going now?
We're going to finish the trailer park, and then we'll go back and we'll get dinner, and then we'll come back and start all over again, and basically we do that every single day, 7 days a week.
How many people do you have on this crew?
Right now we have 4. We try to keep 4. We try to keep a driver, somebody serving, and 2 people dishing up. So anybody that can come out and volunteer, we highly appreciate it.
The house started burning, and something needed to be done.
Is that the house next to you?
No, it's just down the block from me.
And were there other people involved in putting that out?
Number of people.
Now, is that before the fire department arrived?
The fire department never did come out.
Never did come?
No,
so
not till it was out already.
So what did you use, garden hoses?
As many garden hoses as we could get.
So it was a matter of the community and neighbors coming together?
Yes, exactly.
What were your feelings at the time?
I was still pretty stunned from the earthquake. There was people running around doing whatever needed to be done, shutting off gas, turning water off, turning electricity off, taking care of kids, getting everybody out of the houses.
Now, was this the very morning of the earthquake?
Yes.
So it was dark?
It was pitch black. There was no lights anywhere.
So, what did you do for light?
I had a flashlight. Went back in the house a number of times to get clothes for our family and to make sure everybody was okay, trying to get to our neighbors, the houses that fell down. And the house started burning. So we saw no fire engines, so we grabbed hoses and ran over to it.
Was there a full family in that house?
There was at the time, yes.
Everybody get out?
Yes, they did.
Very, very fortunate.
Very fortunate. They got their cars out, and it started to go up in flames at that point. They said it was burning on the inside, nobody saw it, and then flames burst out, and we tried to save the houses around it.
Scattered throughout the city are telltale signs of the quake's wrath, as evidenced by the many piles of bricks, often the first casualties of a powerful earthquake. And brick buildings were hit hard by the impact, causing many, like the Auto Club building on Valencia Boulevard, to be declared unsafe due to extensive structural damage. The Auto Club building is now roped off to the public, as are many other areas along Valencia Boulevard and McBean Parkway, busy thoroughfares which are now littered with the evidence of the January 17th earthquake. And with streets throughout the city showing cracks in the pavement and residential and business structures now showing cracks and splits, the evidence of the quake's fury is overwhelming. And certain areas of the community felt the full impact of the tremor, as entire complexes fell victim to the quake's unrelenting rage.
Yeah, we have 71 condominiums here, and from what I've heard from other associations, this seems to be one of the hardest hit communities in Santa Clarita as far as condo associations go. We have 71 units, 30 of them are declared unsafe at this point, and a lot of those will probably have to be torn down. And it just seemed like nobody, from the outside everything looked okay, and nobody really was aware of how bad these were. The first building inspectors that came out here seemed to be more interested in taking pictures of the damage than really deciding whether these were livable or not. And I don't know if you've got a picture of the block of buildings here, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to look at the buildings to see that they were uninhabitable, and yet our first building inspector told us that these were habitable. So we had to go down and have these reassessed and declared unsafe. This whole wall moved inside off the foundation 4 inches.
Things moved all over the place here. What is the name of this hill?
Franciscan Hill.
Aha.
Then if you can look, I don't know if you can look backwards and see how the walls are leaning to the left. That's the wall that we saw that moved out. And then here's a continuation of the crack that runs all the way through the foundation here. When the building inspectors did this, you can see this piece of tile, how deep it is. Then if you pan over to the living room, we had all 3 glass doors shatter completely. The downstairs really seemed to take it harder. This is a 2-story house. The upstairs is fairly okay. There's not a lot of cracks, but the downstairs really took the brunt of the force.
Now, how does this change your lifestyle?
I'm homeless. I'm my house is uninhabitable, and I'll have to find another place to live right now.
There's an earthquake emergency center in Santa Clarita. Were you able to take advantage of that?
No, I didn't. I have a lot of friends around here, so.
So friends and neighbors helped you out?
The community was wonderful, and people came out and helped. I had people I didn't know emptied my house in 2 hours and put all my furniture and pickup trucks and got it out of here. So it was a real good community.
Well, the way this community is built, I can see where in about maybe 2 minutes everybody could be out on the streets and meeting each other. Did that happen?
Yes, people ran out into the common areas, and people who didn't know each other were introduced, and it was just a very warm feeling.
Right, it was still dark out.
It was pitch black. It was pitch black, and we were still getting the tremors, and the ground was still moving up and down. So it was kind of terrifying.
Kinda.
Very terrifying, yeah.
I meant to ask you, what business are you in?
I work for an insurance broker.
Earthquake insurance?
Well, I am cognizant that I need earthquake insurance, and I think one of the lessons that a lot of people could learn from even someone that lives in a condominium project is that your earthquake insurance on your contents does afford you additional living expenses. So if you're out of your house, your insurance should be able to give you some money to live somewhere else.
So you are one person who had the earthquake insurance, and you do recommend it then?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't move into a home without it.
From our tour of the area today, we see where the community really seems to have come together during this disaster.
I'll tell you, this is probably one of the big stories of this earthquake. This community's always been somewhat different, but they've been somewhat splintered. And we have now come together, strangely enough, the more affluent part of the community, Valencia and Newhall, if there is an affluent part, got the most damage. And Canyon Country and Saugus got a little less, not meaning they didn't suffer damage. The entire community suffered damage, but the earthquake hit closer and caused more damage in this end of the city.
Is there something you might want to personally tell your friends and neighbors here in Santa Clarita?
I'll tell you, the first thing I want to tell them is to thank them and to tell them how proud I am to be representing them as their mayor, because they responded magnificently. Of all the calls we got and of all the contacts we made, I would say 99+% were positive, and they came together and really helped a lot by having consideration and caring for our neighbors. And the community has never been tighter than it has right now, probably due in part to the biggest little radio station in the world.
I was going to ask about that.
KBET, Carl Goldman's station, which we have known about for some time out here. But even Carl will probably say that you could count the numbers of listeners in maybe the hundreds and thousands. But now he's got 150,000 people listening to him every day.
What types of information does he provide?
They provide a lot of information, and much of it comes from the city because we have banks of telephones that we put in operation right after we got our emergency center up and operating. And people called in on these 10 different numbers asking questions, and we tried to get answers. The main things we were answering the first few days was, what's the problem with water? When will we get drinking water? Where will we get drinking water? When will our gas be on? When will our electric be on? And we monitored all that. We had all our utility companies here. We were able to go right to their desk and answer the questions, and it was mostly a reassuring thing. And then in turn, people would call KBET. They would tell things we would find out about from their neighborhood. It was an information clearinghouse, and it was a morale booster because people were able to ventilate their feelings and call and talk to people they knew. They knew Carl Goldman, and they knew all the other people, AJ, and the people who were doing the talking.
It's very important for people to know now that the tent structures and the trailers here are housing the city, and the city is functioning.
Yes, and the city has been functioning. That's one of the big stories about this thing that the community, I think, found out too.
There are centers, I believe, where one can get bottled water.
That's correct. We have 22 different locations throughout the city where we're providing potable water to the community, and also we provide them with a daily newsletter so they have the most up-to-date information about the emergency in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Sprinkled throughout the valley are stations where residents converge to collect free supplies of bottled water. The water is brought in on huge flatbed trucks and distributed to the many Santa Clarita Valley residents who are still without drinking water.
The California Conservation Corps is here to distribute water for the city of Santa Clarita, and basically our job is to just provide water for whoever needs it, whoever asks for it.
How do you get it? Where does it come from?
It's coming from the various water distributors in the area. I know originally they were donating as a service to the community. I believe the federal money has helped reimbursing for the water. The city is coordinating a project, as far as my understanding, and they're bringing it out here on 40-foot trucks.
Are you here all day long?
We're here from 8 to 8, and basically giving out water. As long as we got water, and as long as there's cars coming, we'll be here working.
The lines are long.
Lines are very long. We've got up to three lines working at a time, and we've got cones, traffic control, and a lot of crews just giving water out, keeping the traffic moving. It's a real busy drop site.
For residents of Santa Clarita, water rationing is a new experience, but after several weeks of water lines, most are adapting to the dramatic turn their lives have taken. With friends and neighbors pitching in to help each other, a new sense of community possesses the city as fellow citizens extend a helping hand to friends and strangers alike. Even with the closing of the Newhall Pass, commuters refuse to become isolated from the rest of Los Angeles and are enduring new traffic congestion headaches by utilizing Caltrans' system of detours around the damaged freeway portions.
I survived the earthquake!
And thousands of others have rediscovered the joys of mass transit by riding the popular Metrolink, the commuter train system which is operational Monday through Friday. All right, you're trying to get out of town, aren't you?
Yes,
right.
Definitely.
By train?
Yes.
All right. Well, you happen to have a representative here from Metrolink, and she's going to tell you how to do that.
Okay.
Right.
So I want the 10 trip.
Yeah.
You push the 10 trip go button, then you come over and you look for Silmar San Fernando, and you push that. It says $35, and you start feeding your money right into that slot, and it grabs it and eats it.
and hope it gives me money back.
Each dollar has to go in singularly, so it takes a minute. Now you put the other one in. Oh, here it comes. And
you won! You won!
And these are Susan B. Anthony's, and they may be used in the machine. So those are dollar bills. Don't mistake them for quarters. And this is your 10-trip ticket. And when you're ready to board the train, before you board, you simply come over to the validator machine. It's over here. Over here.
Look at that.
Let's go to the validator. I thought that was a movie.
This is the validator machine, and before each train ride, you simply put this in, and it actually prints the time, and it takes a little bite out of your card.
Okay. And your bank account.
Yeah.
It's already done that.
What?
It's already done that.
Oh.
Only do it.
Okay.
Do it once.
You've been on the train?
Yes. I've ridden it all, let's see, Monday through Friday. And it seems like it's getting better every day because they're adding more trains.
Were you riding the train before the earthquake?
No.
No.
I was driving.
Are you getting to like the train?
It's not bad, except by the time you get here to get a good parking place, you have to wait a while, which is okay. I'll buy that.
You live in Sylmar?
No, I work in Woodland Hills.
Ah.
So our company is sending us buses. Right now we're getting off at Burbank until this coming Friday. And then we will be on... We go from now until Burbank, and they take us by bus, and then starting next week, Warner Center they're having buses that will pick us up and then take us back and forth from Sylmar.
Yeah, it's so complicated going such a short distance.
I know.
You will survive, won't you?
Oh, sure. We all will. And every week is changing, every day is changing. And that part is good because it's given us more encouragement to try to use things like this. Although tomorrow I am actually carpooling instead of trying it this way.
Now, you do live in Santa Clarita, is that right?
Yes, I live in Valencia. I lived in Valencia through the 71 quake and through this one.
And by gosh.
I will survive. But anyway, we will see how it goes.
I've been through every earthquake in California since 1954. And so I knew right away what it was.
Did you compare it to the one in 71?
I sure did, and I knew this was the big one. As it turned out, it was not the big one.
It was just bigger.
It was, I think, about the same as 71. We lived in Northridge, strangely enough, in 1971. But this one was much worse, and this one here, I thought the whole house was coming down.
Did you suffer damage in your home?
We suffered damage, all of our plates and dishes and glasses and a lot of groceries and everything, and the furniture tumbled over. One chest of drawers almost got me. I don't know how it missed me, and I don't remember it falling down, but after I got up and was walking around, I saw it right on the bed where I had been. So I don't know what happened, really, at that time. One of our cars was dented by a falling machine. Other than that, though, it was superficial. The structural damage was not there. We'll have some cracks and some plaster and some painting and a little on the roof. But other than that, we were very fortunate.
And no one hurt.
And no one hurt. Even our dog, Maximilian, came through. Scared, but okay.
What was happening for me is I was sound asleep like most of us, and the quake hit. Almost all of my furniture turned over and crashed in on me. And then I tried to get to my kids who were down the hall, and there was so much stuff that had fallen down, I was not able to get to them immediately, and finally worked my way down the hall and was able to get to them and make sure everybody was safe.
Here at City Hall in the EOC, we do have hotlines operating. There are 5 of them, and they will be operational for a few months as long as there is a need. Those numbers are area code 805-286-4105 through 4109. We have 2 lines specially dedicated to building and safety inquiries, and that number is 286-4115 and 4116. And we encourage people to call in. We will help them, give them the information they need, refer them to other agencies.
An earthquake is one of those things that doesn't have any favorites. It hits anywhere and everywhere in a house. One side can be okay and on the other side destroyed, and communities throughout. And what we need to do is address this as a regional problem, because what happens in Burbank on the freeway directly impacts what happens in the streets of Santa Clarita and all through the valley. So all of these things have to be looked at from that perspective. Also, funding and the available money from disaster is part of this, that we are going through in a united effort with the county and the city and other cities involved, so that we have a united front on our preparation in seeking federal funds. But more than that, what we found out at the beginning of this was that we did not address this as just the city of Santa Clarita's problem. We have many friends and neighbors who live just outside in the unincorporated area, and as a matter of fact, one of the things we first gave them was the emergency supplies of water because the greatest need was there. We are neighbors, we are all friends, we're not Republicans, we're not Democrats, we're Americans at a time like this. And the other thing I think which has been very good, it's just about 2 weeks tomorrow when this happened, and most of our streets and cracks around here have been repaired, and everything has been restored except water in one small area of the city and the county. Stevenson Ranch has still got water problems, but that water company was hit the hardest, therefore they're going to be the most difficult to recover. So all in all, it was a coordinated effort, a lot of cooperation between different agencies, state, federal, local. We met, city officials, myself, met with the governor of the state. We met with the director of transportation, the Secretary of Transportation, Mr. Pena. We met with county officials, Los Angeles city officials. We met with our representative, Buck McKeon, who played an integral part. Our supervisor, the 5th District, Mike Antonovich, who came out and assisted. All the resources of the county. Our own sheriff's department, we contract with the fire department, county fire department, which is part of a large area, and mutual aid, which really worked at this time, highway patrol. All these organizations came together, and between all of us, we made little mistakes here and there, but we learned, and I think we did a credible job, and I take my hats off to all of them that helped. Businesses came through, small business, churches, hospitals, the whole system worked, and this community will never be the same.